Good morning. Welcome. Welcome to Ethan's Bass World. I've rebranded. I'm not a person anymore. I'm a brand. That means that you can talk to me however you want. You can say any slur. You can be as rude as you want. You can hurt my feelings because I'm not a person anymore. I'm a brand. I'm just kidding. I did brand my YouTube channel. It's now called Ethan's Bass World because I want it to be about all things bass, talking about bass, arguing about bass, playing bass, listening to Rush records and talking about them, which is what I'm going to do right now. Today I listened to an album called Hold Your Fire. And now I'm like wondering if I got the album title correct. Hold Your Fire. Great album. It was amazing. It reminded me of the previous record, Power Windows, but not as like R&B influenced to my ears. I don't know if that's correct, but it sounded like a continuation of that same sound, like the same type of keyboard sounds, the same kind of drum sounds. It's so 80s, but it's like that really like meticulous, like Prince production style 80s. Like if you guys have ever listened to the Batman soundtrack from Prince that he did in like 1989 for the Batman movie, like the way he was producing on that reminds me of Power Windows and this record. I got to listen to this album a couple times today, and I will say something that I don't understand is, yes, Rush was like this big prog band of the 70s, and then in the early 80s they had these big hits like Tom Sawyer, but they're in a new era now, right? And to me, you guys are going to hate this. There's a lot of fans out there that are going to be like, they're a prog band, they'll always be a prog band. But in a lot of ways, they are a pop band now. They're writing pop songs. They're writing songs that have less solos, less odd time signatures, more accessible to mainstream audiences. Not any worse, not any watered down. Obviously, the musicality in some ways is more advanced now. It's insane. Like the stuff that's happening on these records is unreal. But it is more pop. They're 5-minute, 4-minute songs, catchy melodies, and catchy to me in a Rush context is positive, that it's like catchy, it's an earworm, it sticks in my ear later. I don't mean that it's like a Justin Bieber song, which some of them are great. Justin Bieber rocks. But what I don't understand is why wasn't this band like Journey or Toto or like one of those big 80s bands? I know that Rush has always been popular, but I grew up knowing about Rush, and all I knew was the big hits of the early 80s and the late 70s, the prog stuff. But no one ever showed me these records. I never heard these songs. These are all fresh for me. In popular culture, in media, I never saw the music videos, nothing. And some of you out there are going to be like, wow, Get Out much? But like, I've experienced the world. I've been a music fan since I was a little kid. I grew up with musician parents. My mom had so many CDs. I was listening to music a lot. And for some reason, I missed huge eras. And that tells me that Rush had a very specific fan base, and it wasn't mainstream at this point. It was for like Tom Sawyer, but I guarantee you I would have known about some of these songs by now. So my question is like, why wasn't this bigger? Because it completely checks all of the boxes of a great 80s record. These are some of the best 80s records I've ever fucking heard in my life. They are on par with Toto. They're on par. All those bands, Journey, incredible stuff I'm hearing. And it's different. It's not the prog stuff from the 70s. It's different, but it's also so good. So my question is, why? Why? Anytime you hear me audibly breathe out like that, it's because I haven't breathed, because I've been too passionate. So I have to take a breath. You know how many breaths I have to edit out of these videos? But man, why weren't these 80s records more popular? And maybe someone will come in the comments, maybe someone that was around when these albums came out, and correct me and say, hey, this soundtrack was huge. You have no idea. It was in every store. It was in every movie. And there's a chance that I just missed it, you know? And I wasn't around in the 80s. I was born in the early 90s, but I've always been aware of pop culture. I've watched so many TV shows from the 70s, 80s. I grew up watching All in the Family. I grew up watching all the John Hughes movies. So like I've heard music and movies and media from the 70s and 80s, but I missed all this stuff. So where was it? Can someone answer? Where was this stuff? And why didn't it become more popular? Anywho, that's my thought. Bye-bye.